We welcome you to the public eye on the Bridge 99 FM. This extraordinary novelty in radio in Jamaica, devoted to the interests and the concerns of the Jamaican diaspora all over the world, inclusive of the Jamaican audience, but doing something that nobody else does, particularly tell the story of what's going on in this land to the people who still yearn for us, living everywhere in the world. You can check us not only by calling us on WhatsApp 876-551-5782 or the studio line 876-676-4996, but you can download the mobile app from the Android Play Store and the Apple Store. It's the Bridge 99 FM. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm Ronald Thwaites, and with me is the Honourable Pernell Charles Sr. He's the co-host. Later on in the program, Attorney Philippa Davis, who is a social activist and a defender of the family, joins us to talk about this resolution which the European Union is asking the African, Pacific and Caribbean countries to sign, which has stings in the tail, she believes, and so do I, and which the government of Jamaica refrained from signing but now seems to be changing its mind. What's involved? What's the modern face of colonialism, and how does it affect the values, the texture of Jamaican life? Are we being asked to, round the back door, accept social forms that we as a people don't accept? Yes? Well, we'll have that for discussion. And afterwards, our friend Nathaniel Pete from London joins us. The Global Diaspora Conference is coming up in 2024, and the folk in England are making important steps in order to ready themselves for engagement and investment in Jamaica. We're grateful for that. Remember, you can always check us on the internet and listen to this, watch us anytime at your convenience. To the world, the Bridge 99 FM, the public eye. So, Mr. Charles.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir. We want to mourn the passing of one of our frequent guests on this program, the Dr. Winston Davidson.
Yes. I was so frightened when I saw his photograph came up on the television.
Yes.
I said, he's dead.
Yeah.
And while I was on the course this morning, my tennis partner said to me, he's burying at 10 o'clock this morning.
11.
And so I rushed home.
Yeah, and prepared and went.
I got there, and I sat beside, I saw Beverly Manley there, and PJ Patterson, and the whole crowd, Mark and all that. So I guess they're a little surprised as to why I'm there. But
no, not at all. You're a Jamaican, and you celebrate.
No. Winston Davidson and myself were councillors together in the KCAC.
I didn't know that.
Senators together in the Senate.
Yeah.
And he's my doctor.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And my children and his children are friends, and they became doctors.
All of them.
Some go to America and some go to the other side.
Indeed.
And
well,
she just asked me a while ago, how are our girlfriends?
So you see, you have every reason to be connected. Winston Davidson, a public servant, perhaps one of the most preeminent public health specialists in Jamaica.
Yes.
Extremely available to us during the time of COVID, remember? When he would give us up-to-date information on the event of the pandemic in Jamaica, and kept the public calm and well informed.
Yes, I was very pleased when I heard Cliff Tufton making a presentation on him and his contribution.
And he should. Good. And it's a sign that the worth of people is not defined by their political coloration or their religious affiliation. That's the important thing.
Well, let us say that's what it should be. But we are lacking in doing that. We talk more than we act. So because why would some people be surprised to say, why are you here? Or are you here? Good to see you here. You can see that there's a little surprise.
No, but we must stop all of that. We must really stop all that. You're there because you're a Jamaican and because of the history of the relationships that you speak of.
Don't say that we should wipe it out. It's something that you and I learn. It's maybe personal or others, but we got there.
No, but the rest of this, I'm impatient. The rest of the society has to get there very quickly, because what the inability to combine and to make policy and to forge relationships, such as you had with the Davidson family and with Winty particularly, this is holding us back. And therefore, we need to hurry up and stop the ism and the schism, as Marley would have said.
I don't know if the younger generation is as bad as the older generation.
We're teaching them, aren't we?
Yes, but I think they are teaching us, because I'm watching. For example, my daughter came all the way from the United States to her girlfriend's father last week.
Yes, you told.
And the father...
Father's a prominent PNP.
Prominent, and she...
Yeah.
Is
obviously a Labourite.
Is a member of the PNP.
Yeah.
But politics between father and mother don't come into them at all.
No,
they were all going to have fish and
it shouldn't. And it shouldn't. That's exactly it. So we are always pushing for that. Let's bring our listeners up to date. The announcement yesterday by the Minister of Finance. Peculiarly the Minister of Finance rather than the Minister of Transport. But I suppose because it's a revenue matter, that the Jamaica Urban Transit Company would be lowering their fees from January through what will be an election period for 2 years. Temporary, he said, to break the cycle of inflation or to mitigate it. It has come across in a different way as being an election ploy, as being not really meaningful, because the JUTC is really in such a decrepit state, and because many people argue, that it's going to undermine the taxes, who have just been given an increase way beyond what
how is it going to undermine it?
Because, as Mr. Newman of the Taxi Association said this morning, if you stand at the depot in Kingston and both of you are going to Portmore and the big bus charges you 70, but the taxi charges you 150 or 200, which will you take?
Well, it has been that way. It has not changed. And I listened to the minister, and it could have been done other ways. But I think that one has to understand that the Bank of Jamaica, your friend, or our friend, right, has set out certain things in terms of inflation. And if you have to stay in there, you either have to give people back the money or lower the price of goods or some way. And this is the way he found that he can do it, even temporarily, to hold it. I don't know if it's right. I'm not an economist.
No, but tell me this. The JUTC, the Jamaica Urban Transport Company, the successor of Jolly Joseph, of Mr. Weedy, and all of those we know about, JOS, is now costing the taxpayers of this country $12 billion a year. And we took a decision yesterday to add another billion to what the central government, our taxpayers, will have to pay because of this concession.
And the answer to that simply is, if I didn't take it that way, I'd have to give it.
No, well,
and so when
there are alternatives.
And go across that, I got to a level of people who needs it, and probably I couldn't get it back from.
But you're taking it from them because they're the ones who have to pay for it. And they're paying for it. I've always felt, this is apart from any decision that the minister has made yesterday, I've always felt that the subsidy to the urban transport was particularly unfair. One, because a large amount of the taxpayer dollar that goes to pay that $12 billion or something like that every year, without any reform in that system, that bus system, is paid by the GCT that people in Northern Clarendon pay. But they never take a JUTC bus. They have to pay doubloon joint price to go from Chapelton to Spalding.
Could I beg you to give me a little praise?
Yes.
I was Minister of Public Utilities. I was in charge of Air Jamaica.
Yeah.
I was in charge of the Jamaica Urban Transit
Company.
And I am one of those who know that it just will never make what JOS used to do. They don't have the.
We've made that happen.
Well, I don't know why. How have we made that happen?
By giving license to everybody else to run to compete. We've given away the custom of JUTC. Now I accept that a public transportation system will require a level of subsidy, but not the level that we're doing it now, with no effort to change it.
No, but
and it's going to get worse.
How are we giving it away?
By offering licenses on the JUTC routes to hundreds, nay thousands of operators.
Okay. Two things that we're looking. One, we didn't have the amount of buses. JOS had an arrangement with Britain that they could get used buses. JOS, I was living all the way in the Dry Harbor Mountain, and a JOS bus from Kingston was coming through and going to Brownstown. And whenever that bus blows at a place we call train line, although no train ever run there, whenever that bus blows there, you know it's 3 o'clock. Whatever happened, it leaves Kingston, through St. Catherine, all the way,
reach there at 3 o'clock.
Come to and it is there. So you know.
So that's good.
Oh, that's great.
So what happened?
Hold on. JOS, for short of wanted an extra penny. The then minister said no. And JOS pulled out. Okay, so somewhere down the line it was Carlisle Dunkley, one of our good friends who died from St. Anne's Bay there too, was Minister of Finance, came to me. And I know it cannot work, it did not work, and it will not work.
Like
so what did I do?
What did you do?
Abandon it.
Yeah.
I decided that Jamaicans must divide Kingston and St. Andrew and the rest of the place into areas. We gave them subsidy to buy bus. In other words, the bus that is driving now was sold to them for $250,000. You ever hear about the $250,000?
Indeed, I do. And I'm interested in the history, but I'm asking you now, how can it be a prudent expenditure of taxpayers' money to put $12 billion and more into a failing company not 1 year?
Let me finish the last point.
Every single year.
Let me finish the last point.
It is that is irresponsible.
It is, in my opinion, it was irresponsible. In my opinion, it couldn't work. So I tried to work something. So we farm out areas.
I understand the background, you know.
And give people subsidy to buy buses. That went up. Another government came in and put back JOS.
So what is the moral of the story that Mr. Charles is telling?
The moral of the story is it is taking a bus nearly 2 hours from Price Smart to go to Crossroad, and we carry 6 people. Why? Because private buses, taxis, carrying the people. My moral is it will never work. And the price to keep it alive will be double every time.
Would you give,
and whichever government goes there.
Would you give blood to a dead man?
Yes, if he still have a little life.
So what we are doing...
I'll give little blood to this. What
we're doing is giving blood, pouring out our substance from our own bodies.
But what's the alternative, Ronnie?
The alternative is very, very clear.
Tell me the alternative.
Sure, the JUTC, the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, has to be reconfigured to carry 2 classes of people. Students and old people. And there has to be proper regulation, which there is not now, of the minibus and taxi operation.
How are you going to do that, Ronnie?
Why not? That's beyond us. So the leg-of-beast behavior on the road will continue.
Let's deal with your first item. And since I was the minister, with school children only run part of the year. All people...
Park the bus like they do in America.
How?
That's what they do in America. Park the bus. You operate on a 10-month operation.
Do you know what the subsidy to America is?
Which by
do you know what the subsidy to transport in America is?
I do. And which, by the way, this bit about this long summer holiday.
Yeah.
Yes, that is nonsense. We can't continue that,
Yeah, but let's deal with the transport
yes,
first.
What I'm saying is that it's not beyond us.
I have a solution for that one.
To find uses for those buses. And if we have to put them down for the periods that the school children and the elders don't need them, which is unlikely, then we can do that. What you cannot continue is what we have now. You and I agree to that.
Yes.
But what we're doing...
No, we can continue if we decide to subsidize it.
What we do, can you imagine what 12, 13 billion is going to go up?
But when it was that last year and the year before...
No, it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't, because if you have a problem, the only thing that matters for the past is to impel you to do better in the future, which instead of doing that, the Honorable Dr. Nigel Clarke is making it worse for the public of this country.
No, hold on, because there's some politics to that.
Well, yes.
That people feel
I thought
that
politics was to do good.
No, hold. There's some politics that people are putting in that.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to not only Nigel Clarke, but somebody who has no political affiliation about the country's economy, the growth and the inflation and what has to be done. But I'll go back and tell you, you said it won't work. I have already advised you and all of them that I drive from Red Hills down to Crossroad every morning. And when the taxi go, the buses are taking by 8, 9 o'clock almost 2 hours, and they don't have more than 6 people.
So as the lawyers would say, quod erat demonstrandum. What does that show? And look, that's a serious issue. We've made this one should have. Look, I support lower fares, because people are getting poorer and poorer, and there are some who really need it if they can wait for the bus. So I'm not against that, but what I'm against is a waste of taxpayers' money.
Nobody call it waste.
But
if you're not, hold on. If you are not against the bus running,
putting $13 billion as it's going to be in the JUTC every year cannot be morally or practically justified, Mr. Charles. But you as minister would never do that.
It wasn't 14 billion, but it was about that money for that time. What I did was to divide up Kingston into probably 5 places and sold the routes.
You told me, but then you would shock me if you can justify that waste of money. Dr. Nigel Clarke, for whom I have regard, is noted for his fiscal rectitude. How can he possibly spend that much money subsidizing a dead man, a dead corporation? Yes. And at the same time offering $170 and $230 per day for school picnic lunch.
Oh my God! That I'm sort of glad that you're not a minister in the PNP government, because you couldn't go and tell them that.
No, but
you want to tell me anybody could take off, any government could take off the buses off the road?
No, I'm not suggesting that. I've offered a different kind of alternative.
What I did? Are you supporting what I did?
I'm suggesting that we need a good school bus system.
How are you going to run it?
And a system that offers concessionary rates to elders. Because the situation that you have now, you realize that if this really works, as the minister hopes, and if the taxi operators, their income is reduced, yes, do you realize what that does to the financial system? Because all of those cars out there are mortgaged to the hilt, And any day they don't pay that money to the bank and through the owner man, yes, through some of the same JUTC employees, the police, the teachers, the politicians, all of them who own buses, taxi.
Because you were not in the transport system, you don't know certain things. So let me tell you, this rubbish about when bus fare come down, more people going to come out of taxi going a bus is rubbish.
That was, hold on. That's what the minister said yesterday,
But a minister, parliamentarian, who?
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. Right now, the buses are running empty some areas.
Indeed.
And the reason they're running empty is why?
Because they're congested.
No. Because people not taking them because of the condition of taxis and other cars on the road. So it takes 2 hours to come. So then take a taxi who go around the corner, take a sidewalk, right?
That is not going to stop.
It's not going to. In fact, when I hear somebody say that when the price come down, more people going to come out of the taxi. It is rubbish.
Well, so why do it?
No. You do it for the people who taking the taxi, not the taxi man.
The one and
the
two.
people taking the bus.
Okay, so you're going to have to deal with the taxi man. I leave that to the.
No, don't leave it to you. You represent the taxi man.
I'm so happy. This really concerns me. The other thing, before we get ready for our guests, is the issue of the rains that we had last weekend since we met.
Yes.
And something that you have consistently said, and I think you drew it from your son when he was Minister of Agriculture. 2 things can really affect us: drought and flood.
Yes.
And what we see now is consistent reports of
flood.
Drought first, and then now flood.
Yes.
And the diminution of our food supply. I am worried when you go to Coronation Market for your weekly visit. You're going to find the price of cabbage has gone up.
For what?
I don't, because a lot of it has spoiled.
You are dead wrong.
Really?
I went to Coronation Market at 7:30, 8 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, and
I bought cabbage for $150 a pound.
Right. Do you think that's going to hold into December?
Somebody told me, boss, hold up a cabbage out there.
Okay.
Hold on.
That would be good. I stand corrected.
No,
the Bank of Jamaica and the Planning Institute are wrong?
The man was telling me don't come from country.
Okay.
Right? But what has happened
is
that last week cabbage was about $150.
Yeah.
200.
It won't hit right
came
away.
From 300. And the guy told me that this week it's going to drop. And it really dropped because I bought from the countryman.
Yes, but then do you think what the Planning Institute of Jamaica or listeners abroad should know? They are projecting that inflation is going to be very high for the next quarter. And that
because the price of food are going to go high.
That's it. No, this is what worries me, because we have made provision for this. We know that we're going to get drought periods. We know that we're going to get periods of floods. Have we made sufficient provision for this? What are we doing to prevent some 40% of what we grow to fruition from wasting? Yes, because otherwise the imports are going to import license people lining up already in front of the ministry, sir.
Well, I want
to do that. The dollar, which is already under pressure.
I want you as a minister of observation. Yeah, to now advise the minister.
Yeah.
What you suggest he do in this sort of rain?
Yeah.
Wash out everything. Wash out pumpkin. Wash out melon, and those who survive are licking them finger because they triple the price.
Yeah.
It is not necessary.
Yeah. So
it's not as if the price show from down to come up here.
No, I understand that, but so that is a supposed magic market system that equates or balances.
What would be your market
price and demand? I don't accept that.
No.
I want to see.
That is called. That is my market system. What would be your market system when rain wash it away, sun burn it up?
A farmer in Eastern St. Thomas was very clear on the television the other night. He said very clear.
Slick.
He said what we need to do is to be able to store our surplus. Instead of this nonsense of selling the Agricultural Marketing Corporation, that should be so full of the surplus of what we have grown and been able to reap during the better season, that when we are faced with natural disaster such as we are now, we don't suffer the kind of price tremors that are right in front of us. Secondly, sir, what has happened, and I'm not blaming anybody, what has happened to the surge towards scientific agriculture, towards greenhouses, towards shade induced agriculture production, which was going so well and which now apparently has largely flopped? These are the things we have to make a difference from.
But let's start with number one, really. Let's start with number one. Do we have enough? Storehouses are not done by the farmers. Storehouses are done by those who are producers, but not from the ground. They purchase from.
What about?
They're the ones who purchase.
You know why? You know why we don't have that?
Why?
Because we in our head we are import culture, and the people who should be induced to invest in the storehouses, yes, are not. What they're doing is getting licenses. There's going to be a flood of foreign cabbage, foreign tomato, foreign lettuce, foreign everything.
So then draw it back.
And then draw right out.
Draw out. And in other words, they are regulating production. They are keeping production at a level that their storehouse will be full till you don't have, and then let it out and triple the price.
And the role of, they did it in the late 70s. The role of government is to intervene on behalf of the majority. And the majority of people are going to be paying what they don't have for basic food this Christmas.
All right.
That's a real shame.
Since we are on food and you didn't watch the television yesterday.
Okay.
I am going to throw one at you. I will see how well you can lick 6.
Might get clean bowl.
No. Here is a situation where the Minister of Agriculture brought a very large amendment agricultural bill back to Parliament.
Saw it.
And the opposition spokesman get up and he made, in my opinion, a very convincing presentation asking that the matter be sent to a joint select committee. And I took up my phone to send a message to say, what is wrong with that?
But the minister says it's been pending so long.
Hold on. Hear what bothers me now. And I have some bright, I won't tell you bright who asked me.
Yeah.
This bill was on the table for the past 3 weeks. And the opposition has not come to Parliament with one amendment, but wants it to be sent back for discussion. And I said,
so I have no difficulty in acknowledging your criticism of the opposition. My critique of the whole thing.
But let me finish because I have to criticize.
Okay, please.
I was criticizing the minister for saying, what is wrong with sending back the thing so all you can discuss it? And the minister said, all of us are here. It was there. And they have not come here with one amendment. What are we going there for? After 5 years they've been going through this thing.
But then you see,
I have a problem now because I have to go apologize to the man because I was saying, and the opposition guy made, in my opinion,
but this
a very good presentation.
But the bill won't work. It won't work because
it won't work because what?
The government is reflexive. Every time it has a problem, it increases the penalties.
No.
What is needed? What is needed? Yes, is the improvement of the surveillance. The predial larceny teams in the police are not adequate. 2, the technology that is required to detect farm theft, is not available cheaply. This is what Mr. Cousins, PNP spokesperson, was saying. And whoever it is, that is undoubted. This notion that that if you lock them up for 3 years rather than 1 year, or for 30 years rather than 15 years, in respect of other crimes, that increased penalties are going to have the result. That is an illusion. History tells us otherwise. Anybody with the...
You have a suggestion that you think...
I'm telling you, I told you what. We need predial larceny wardens, far more and far better enabled and equipped than predial larceny wardens. Persons who are empowered.
Oh, wardens.
Wardens.
Yes.
Wardens. And
but we had wardens.
We need technology. I'm sorry, sir. I've been a farmer for many years until recently, and to get a predial larceny, a person who can act on it when you have a theft or you suspect someone is very difficult. It is as difficult. I'm sorry to tell you, it's as difficult as getting a radar officer to come and help you.
But something happened yesterday that I had to pinch myself. But Charles, you are guilty. Do I put my guilt on the public?
Well, there you are. Plenty more to talk about this when we come back. Philippa Davis talking about the European Union and countries like ours. What are they foisting upon us? Or is it really benign and we should go along with it? It's the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. Welcoming Philippa Davis, Advocacy Officer for the Coalition for Healthy Society in Jamaica. Hello, Philippa.
Hi, good afternoon, Reverend Ray. And to your listeners as well.
And to the Honourable Pernell Charles, the co-host.
How are you?
Good afternoon, Honourable Charles. How are you? I'm well, thank you.
Philippa Davis, the government of Jamaica is about to make a decision whether to accede to what is in fact a treaty proposed by the European Union to the African, Caribbean and Pacific nations, including countries like Jamaica, for trade and finance, which bodies like yours, and I wish to indicate my own support for this, feel is intrusive and in fact an act of neocolonialism. Why is that? Why are you objecting to this?
Well, originally, these trade agreements, when they started in the 1970s, they were first called the Lomé Agreements. They were originally intended to give developing countries that were former colonies of Europe, certain European countries, a leg up into the European market by granting them preferential access. But this new agreement, now called the Samoa Agreement, has gone far beyond that original intention. And if you look at the number of subject areas that are under this agreement that would be under the influence of the European Union, it is, as you say, a form of neocolonialism. It's basically all areas of national life and governance. And it's no longer now about trade and economic development. It's now about political dialogue and a portal for the European Union to advance its worldview on very sensitive issues.
I noticed the preambles to the agreement, and a large proportion of them have to do with social issues.
Right.
And engage us or set standards for us, which I'm wondering if we want to keep. First of all, it indicates in deceptive language to my mind that we will have to accord equality of status to people who are engaged in lifestyles that we do not consider to be appropriate or to be normative.
Correct.
Something which is, of course, very sensitive for me. It includes a right to abortion, to gay marriage, yes, to a normative status for people who want to change their gender.
Right.
There are some very good things. They are against female genital mutilation, Pernell. They are against other aspects that are socially important. They insist upon a level of sexual education which does not fit with the normative values of Jamaican society for the most part.
Right.
So look at the choice that we have to make. We're going to turn away the money, or we're going to stand by our principles.
Certainly. And our group, the Jamaica Coalition for a Healthy Society, in no way are we saying that the government should not be pursuing agreements, partnerships that would advance our country and that would lead to national prosperity and human flourishing. Certainly, we're a member of the community of nations. But this has to be with those who are like-minded, and certainly it should not threaten our national sovereignty or our values and what is taught in the educational curricula, for example. And so that is why for 2.5 years we have been approaching Foreign Affairs with the simple question: what do these words mean? Human rights, gender, sexual and reproductive health and rights, and non-discrimination. Now, the thing about human rights, it is, yes, an important pillar for the development of society, but what has happened in recent years, and it's been led by the developed countries like the EU, like the US, it's a reinterpretation of the meaning of words in order to give freedom to all sorts of sexual preferences and behaviors. They have removed the classic doctrine of human rights and now added claims and reinterpreted existing words that would really have the effect now of shutting down my freedom of speech and conscience for me to object to a particular behavior and say that's not healthy, that should not be taught in schools. I will now be labeled as discriminating against somebody's sexual preferences. But that cannot make a society work well.
And possibly subject to legal sanction.
Exactly.
Now, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, in a brief statement reported in the press, I want to make that clear because I don't know if this is reflective of the fullness of her opinion, says, don't worry about it, Jamaica, because we are going to make certain that there's an interpretation clause which will insist that we will interpret the writ and the provisions of the treaty in a way that does not offend our Jamaican domestic law. Are you satisfied or mollified by that?
Well, the first thing is, why now? Why, after 2.5 years of our approach, are you going to say you're going to put an interpretive clause when we had already asked about that and we had even suggested language to include as a reservation against an adverse interpretation of those words? Why, after many Jamaican citizens home and abroad called Foreign Affairs, as we asked them to exercise their democratic freedom last week before the Samoa Agreement, asking Foreign Affairs, please, what does this mean? Don't sign unless we have clarity. Why now? Okay, so she has responded to the people, and we're grateful for that. But I don't think that is sufficient to simply put an interpretive clause.
What is her? Could you tell us what is her reply to why now and not 20 and 30, 15 years ago?
Well, we don't. This is a news report that came in today's newspaper, Honorable Charles, so we don't know why now. But perhaps we're happy if it is indeed that she's responding to the people speaking. And we would be glad about that.
Of course, she's responding to Ronnie, you and I, because if they go ahead, we're opposing it. Now, don't forget that the political system and the private sector system in Jamaica are not united on these things. And if they are not, what happens to the government?
I don't understand. How you mean what happens? The government must stand up for principle. And principle.
And how long do you remain government?
No, but
you and I are sitting right here.
Hello, sir.
Recognize that the
principle bigger than power, you know.
The politics of power in Jamaica is our greatest enemy sometimes.
Indeed. So what we're saying is that in this instance, there should have been no question of acceding or moving towards the accession of something which clearly opens the door to demean our traditional values and our very, very deeply held principles, and goes to the very fabric of society. If you don't have a clear notion of what family means, yes, if you don't have a clear notion about the sanctity of life, you're not building a society. You're building a little cabal and prison cell for yourself.
Well, man, you know what I say?
What?
I am not prepared to challenge the government as to why not a year or two ago. I'm prepared to say I am glad that it is now.
But then what minister is saying, which right, I supported them. I wrote it and commended the Minister of Foreign Affairs for taking this view, and the government, no doubt, the cabinet supported her. But then now it turns out that they're dying to sign it, and they're looking to find some little Jim Screechy way to get around what is in there already, and that is very disappointing. That is backsliding on their part.
Yeah.
Help me, Philippa.
Yes, and the challenge of Reverend Thwaites is that the language that we are concerned with is not just in the body of the agreement itself. The EU has now removed the funding mechanism, the EDF, that was within the ACP agreement.
Fund.
Right. It is now a separate mechanism called the NDK, where all of their external funding processes will pass through, and it is under the sole design and regulation of the EU. So whereas previously there might have been a degree of co-ownership between ACP and EU over projects that would have applied for funding and the release of funding, even though it is the EU's money. Right now, it is completely under the EU. And when you look on the regulations of that NDK, it carries the same language in the agreement. So my question would be to the government, does this mean that you have to subscribe to those values of the EU in applying for money? And if they release the money, does it mean you have to include those values in your project in order to access the money?
Of course it does. And you said earlier that it's part of a broader brush that is tainting our countries like ours. I have been made aware of a document which purports to be with the signature of Mr. Joseph Biden, President of the United States, yes, which states very clearly to United States aid agencies that they must only deal with people who buy into this thing.
Right.
No. And I want to ask you and her,
Yeah.
what is the alternative as far as you're concerned to your people? When you say no to the Europeans, no to the Americans, what happened to you? How do you deal with that?
There's a Trinidadian calypso, you're not going to agree with me, which talks about the man importuning this woman and wanting to see this and that about her. And she said, take your money, keep your honey. I will die with my dignity.
Right.
Yeah, well.
And that me defend.
That is why you are here. And you alone have one vote.
No, sir.
And the political system in this country not saying what you say.
Well,
your very friends are waiting to see.
I have no difficulty in disagreeing with them. What I'm saying is that if you take an economistic view of human life, and that goes to treaties and elements, institutions of governance, if you take an economistic view and leave out that which is principle, that which is spiritual, that which is socially appropriate, yes, you will end up with a whole heap of money and you have lost your soul. What does it profit a man if he gain his own soul and lose, if he gains the whole world and lose his soul? We have to, what is our independence mean if we don't stand up and say, listen, we're really not into this, you know?
It means
Marcus Garvey said we must have a backbone, not a wishbone, Mr. Charles.
And that is why Marcus Garvey bone never come out. Right? And I will tell you, if you come out there, you are going to suffer the same.
But
we
you're defending.
I'm a realist.
You defend this?
I'm a realist.
A man like you not defending this. You can't defend.
No. I'm not. Well, let me be clear. I'm not defending it, but I am not stupid enough not to see what the reaction would be national, even politically.
Quite true.
Even politically.
Yeah. What's the next move, Ms. Davis? Because this is apparently the minister says that she's taking counsel now as to what date to sign, and this exception clause, we don't know what is in it. There's been no consultation with the Jamaican people.
Right. And we have continued our approach to the minister to say consultations must be held, full discussion, and she said in a news report that she will engage civil society. We certainly hope so. But as you gentlemen have alluded, it's a...
You can't hope. You must insist.
Yes, but as you gentlemen have rightly pointed out, it is a heavy decision to make, our values versus selling off the island. But I would want Foreign Affairs to understand that in asking them to state clearly what the words mean, it's not just for the public to know, but also to help them when they continue their interaction with the EU and other developed countries in the various international fora. You would have made a public statement to them that this is where we stand, and therefore we cannot go beyond this definition and acceptance of this term. Because we know the EU is going to use hard and soft diplomacy to try and force Jamaica and the other Caribbean and African nations down a certain path. And they've given themselves 20 years, that's the length of this current agreement, to do so. But Foreign Affairs, this is a signal moment as to where we stand, and not just for ACPE relations, but across the board in all our international interface.
Well, I'm in agreement there. I'm remembering Sir Alexander Bustamante, who told, what was his name, Malan, the South African president, I will not shake your swarthy hand because of what you're doing to my people. I remember Michael Manley and his father before him, who took courageous stands against apartheid in South Africa. Right. I remember when we stood up for the integrity of the Chinese nation with the One China policy. All of those things and many, many more that we could speak of. I remember the great Hugh Lawson Shearer and his support for real human rights in 1968 before the United Nations, and so many more here and abroad.
You know, I may stop you and tell you why it worked.
Yeah.
Because the political system here was in support of it.
Well, let us... what do you think we're having this interview with Filippo and yourself, sir? That we want to build. We want to say to them, you can't sell out the Jamaican family. I have plenty of tolerance for people who have different lifestyles and different views on sexuality. But to make that the norm, yes, and to say, if I use the colloquial words, the station going vex with me.
Don't use it. Don't use it.
Don't use it.
I see it on your boat, but don't use it.
All right, and you know what I mean. If you try to put that across to the people of Jamaica, that you defend, Yes, that kind of behavior must take the name of marriage. Yes?
Right.
I don't see where the political advantage, I don't see how the money can work that, Pernell. And what I do see is what I had to push out. Yes, when I served in the government, where they were putting forward a health and family life thing, paid for by the people abroad, that said that children have a right to choose their sexuality.
Right.
And behave appropriately. And that make a norm, an equality between heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, anything else. No, sir.
Ronnie, one of the reasons why both of us can sit here,
yes, sir,
is that we exhibit a certain amount of political independence from those who lead us. One of the reasons why we can sit here.
So they don't defend morals.
No, we defend morals, of course. It is morality why we
no, I
we
mean,
look at
I
it
mean,
that way.
I mean, the other man you say are watching the wind, how the wind blows.
No, but what I think that you and this young lady need to look at is to do a valuation as to what would happen to Jamaica if Jamaica does not sign. What happened in the American system if America is opposed, and how we mobilize the Jamaican people to say, look here, because of that we have to suffer that.
Isn't this the essence of colonialism, where somebody abroad, yes, it used to be Britain or France or whoever, them say, so you must be, so you must do it, yes, and if you don't do it that way, no food.
Yes, it is. And interestingly,
the man tell me, say, it's not colonialism, it's immoralism.
No, it's colonialism. It is nasty colonialism.
Yes.
Can't colonial again, we pass that.
Not seem so. Philippa, what's the next move?
Yes, well, Reverend Waits and Honorable Charles, we already know what could happen because we are seeing how the EU is treating their own member states, Hungary and Poland in particular, who are very pro-life and pro-family. And we've seen the vilification that they are facing from the EU because they are choosing to exercise their right to self-development. They want to promote family and marriage God's way, and they're being threatened and labeled that they're threatening good governance and democracy within the European Union. And they're even losing funding from various member states because they want to promote family and life and marriage God's way. So we know what could happen if they're doing this to their own member state within the European space. But Reverend Thwaites, I just want to let you know, if I can take the opportunity to say there are countless parents in Jamaica and across the Caribbean who are so grateful for that bold and truthful stance you took as then Minister of Education in 2012, because it has provided an example to us. If this could happen when the law was in place, what would happen if it was removed and then it is to be called normal? So that was a historical example to Jamaica as to what could happen. And I'm so grateful for what you did 11 years ago.
Well, I'm hoping that we can, this time round, I understand the sensitivity of it all. But the word that I would like to state and hope for agreement is to say to the government and Minister Johnson Smith, do not hurry to sign that thing.
Right.
Yes? And please take full and from a narrow political point of view, this is yes, Mr. Charles Purnell. I do not see what this government really want to have the church in Jamaica against them for this.
No, what I want to ask you.
I'm going into election with that.
No, I want to ask this young lady if she can do something to get the political leaders, the political system, to think the way she's thinking. Not just one side.
Well, I think
because the real problem is the politics of Jamaica.
Oh Lord,
but Rani, the politics is if you do it, if you do it, and this one don't do it, you have a problem.
On return, a simple question that they could ask themselves, both political parties, is this: where do human rights come from? If you settle that groundation question, it will give you the framework to assess whether a claim really satisfies human rights qualification or whether it's a claim and must be left as a claim. If they can answer that question honestly and truthfully, where human rights come from, then we will have the guidance that we need. And we know human rights comes from the giver of rights, and that is God. It is He who has said this is what it means to be human, But if you have boundaries around behavior, they're absolutely necessary as part of that definition of what it means to be human. Let them answer that question.
And maybe let the point be very clear. No one is suggesting intolerance or persecution
No, not at all.
of any person who is of a different orientation or persuasion. Not at all. What you're saying is do not take that situation and make it normative. And in fact, bind yourself to it, which is what I understand, and having read what I have had access to, is what is inherent in this thing. Yes, and selling it out for the money. Yes, we could never do that. That would only embed more so the selfishness, the hyper-individualism, that is so rampant in the society. You can't do that. You cannot do that.
Well, yes, I believe
in 1880, the British government wanted to give money to the Jamaican nation to educate what they call the Negro Education Grant. The local assembly people, or their successors, refused it. Yes, but people went ahead and did what was right. So you can parse it any way you wish. We have a sense of what is right and appropriate within our culture and our society. Governments they can persuade people to change their view, but at the same time, entering into international relations must respect who we are. We are not beggars who will take anything.
I want to say to her before she leaves that the pressure should not only be on the political government. The church should be standing up. Nobody's going to really fight off the church on this. Nobody's going to fight off the private sector on this.
Ms. Johnson,
nobody's going to fight off the
Ms.
United.
Johnson says she's going to go sign the thing.
A unit.
If she signs the thing, is everybody who is obligated, you know.
Yes, but before
so
they
she
sign,
do that.
No, before they sign, if there is a symbol of unity among the church, the political parties, the private sector, you don't have a problem. But when you have one little side, it's pushing forward, and the rest keeping quiet.
And we have strong support from the church.
And
we have strong support from the church. I can assure you of that.
Well, this is something, and we're not vexed. We just simply want to see it go right, and it is a watershed moment for Jamaica, in my view.
It is.
May I just advise you? I want to see it go right too.
I'm sure you do, sir.
You better believe that.
Elder Charles of the Seventh-day Adventist Faith. Philippa Davis, thank you so much. We'll talk more.
Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Advocacy Officer for the Jamaica Coalition for the Healthy Family. That's Philippa Davis. Bernard, the government must really. I appeal to the conscience.
What define the government for me?
The government is the people who sit in cabinet, and particularly the prime minister. They're the ones who will decide whether this thing is signed or not.
What is the role of the opposition?
The opposition makes its own position clear. I do not know what their position is on this one. If they are of the same mind as Mrs. Johnson Smith and others who are supporting this thing, then I am in opposition to them.
Well, I
hope not.
Hear me now. I would say that there are certain things that are happening in the country today. It happened because the two sides cannot get together. One is doing it and the other one is challenging it to take power.
I understand that, sir.
One is trying to get power, one is trying to keep power.
I am saying that we must stop that foolishness, because at the end of the day you end up with the power and it not suit you. And it is a betrayal of the people and the interests of the people. One of the worst things in Jamaica now is the breakdown of family life. What are you going to do? And take some not developed country values and bring it into this place, where the majority of your people don't have the comfort and the necessity and the benefit of two parents. You're going to tell me that this suits black people? I just saw a survey that only 4% of black children in the United States are brought up by both their parents. Now we know what can happen, all kind of things. But my God, what a problem that is. Look at the benefit you had from being, even in circumstances of relative poverty, what you had when you had your two parents. Similarly, I bless the single mothers and the single fathers for what they try and do, but are not ideal. And we are gone into all this other thing, this tie-up thing disrespects life and disrespects relationships and confuses tolerance with license and say that is good government?
Well,
sir, no.
Well,
We're not to do that.
All I am saying, Ronnie, is that in the political system that we operate in Jamaica, one side can't run government. Because one side run government their way, and the other side take it to go their way.
Which is why the system
and there's no way we're going to have a united approach in one of
the system have to shake up. Then we can't even have a united approach about basic things like relationships in the society. Lord have mercy. Yes. Thank you. It's Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. When we come back, there's much, much more. Stay tuned. This is the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. This is Charles and Thwaites. We're talking about the affairs of the nation, and perhaps in about 5 or 10 minutes' time, we'll join Nathaniel Pete from England to talk about some of the diaspora activities that are ramping up there. In the meantime, though, Mr. Charles, another issue of the day has been the effect of the floods on some of the new high-rise housing schemes and other nearby premises. It goes to the very center of the meaning of local government in Jamaica. I'm going to make a rash statement for you. Local government don't want you know.
Well, put it this way. Why should you leave that sort of infrastructure to parish councillors? Why? You tell me why.
Because they are
you don't have the engineering.
But they do. They say they do. They have somebody called city engineer.
Yeah.
They have somebody called inspector. They have somebody called building committee. And after all of that,
I like how you're putting it. That
yes,
they
sir.
have somebody.
Well, they after all of that, they go and wink their eye. Yes. Who was it saying that in his years of practice is only 2 times anybody has ever come and inspected a building that's going up, and that we happen to know, and I open myself to any action, that there's a whole lot of corruption that goes on, and we are going to continue and elect another cycle. I'm being brought around to Mr. Seagal's
the Prime Minister make a statement the other day.
Yeah.
That action is going to be taken to people who build in areas where they mark no construction.
But nothing is going to come of that, sir, because the people who are to enforce that are deep in the thing or careless. It's not going to happen. How can you defend local government in a situation where you have over 200 squatter settlements in Jamaica? Just take that.
What's the alternative to squatters?
No. We can discuss the alternative. But all I'm saying is that if it is the role of local government to police, to govern the building code, clearly it hasn't happened. Clearly, look around. Those things that are the jurisdiction of the local government are not being dealt with. Solid waste, street lights, road repair.
Yeah, but Ronnie, I was a parish councillor for nearly 10 years. You know.
Okay.
What authority do they have?
Well, this would take.
What authority do you have to tell somebody that you must stop steel light?
So I ask you to answer your own question, sir.
Yeah.
And if they have no authority to do the things that are really meaningful, why bother with them? They're taking up billions of dollars.
But there are several people who believe that the parish councillors don't have a need. You know.
So
they don't need to parish councillor.
I'm advancing the discussion ruefully, regretfully, because I believe that there is a place for municipal authority.
Well, I know,
but if it doesn't work,
there is a place for them.
So what? You're a politician, so am I. What does our politics do to make this local government system other than it is now? Because clearly it isn't, where you have a whole billions of dollars can spend up on one hillside, which is right on the earthquake fault, and the KSAC can't answer a question because look what happened when you have 2 shower rain. Everything mash up. They open themselves to all kinds of civil action. The public will end up having to pay for that. You bet my life. Yes, and we're going to have a massive contest as to who control local government in 3 months' time.
A man just called me to ask you. what do you expect the parish council to do when government, ministers, cabinet,
yes, sir,
government, parliamentarian, both sides, say to a man, you cannot build a house because when rain fall, the whole of your soul wash and in Billy Mouse.
Who have
jurisdiction? Sidewalk, who
have jurisdiction for that to curb that? Who have jurisdiction? And of them, where the parish councils have proved themselves so inefficient that a previous JLP administration had to take away solid waste from them and give it to a statutory agency. Yes, National Solid Waste Management, where the capacity of a councillor to have garbage, to have cleanliness in his own division, he has to go beg somebody else, please send a truck, or give him 2 shillings for sweep it up. This is absolute nonsense.
What? I'm not
waste
sure.
Again, billions of dollars. I want people of intelligence, you see, like Mr. Charles, like your son, like Mr. Clark, and others, yes, who have, they can't think. They don't see that perpetuating this present structure is just wasting more money and nudging people on edge and increasing disrespect.
I know it's not going to work.
What precisely? So what are you doing it for? Life is short, You must try and do something, or say something, do something that makes sense.
I need to invite you, though, in your unhesitated approach to connect certain things to some people. Do you think that that a national spirit is available in Jamaica right across the board?
A national spirit?
But call it a nationalist spirit. Yeah. All of us, regardless of our funding, our money.
No, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
We have that?
No, we don't. And the problem is that when you don't have that, individuals who have power turn it to their own purposes.
And not only political power,
No.
Right?
Money
power,
religious power.
There's still a class power.
Yeah. Race power.
There's
another kind of power.
Yeah.
One with a gun, where you get license for a gun, and you make everybody know that you're better than them because anything them do for you, shot you.
Yes? Ronnie, if you ever see how you put your mouth a while ago. It's not a laughing matter.
No, it's not. So we have to build that spirit.
But then somebody that shouted at Mr. Charles, tell us where in the world that is not happening.
No, don't. That's no comfort. Jamaica, you see.
Ronnie said that don't think about the world.
No.
Let us think about Jamaica first. What can we do in Jamaica to make...
Jamaica is a garden of Eden. Jamaica has, out of suffering, of the crucible of suffering, we have the capacity to reach a height of human civilization and compatibility that other people may not want, but we have it. We can do it. We've shown it. Yes? Look how we're bad last night in Toronto and bust up the Canadians with the football. That is just one thing.
Hold on.
It's sure grit and spirit make we do that, where we can apply that to solid waste, to education, to health care, to local government, instead of the foolishness we're going with.
Yeah, this man called me now. He said, because we put a foreign man in charge of regular boys.
No, sir. I know him. No, I don't
downplay. But he advised them.
Of course,
and he encouraged them.
But of course, but does the team do it?
But leadership, leadership not having a color. Shouldn't have a color.
So tell me where the leadership of this country now. Remember, I'm beyond the system. But tell me where the leadership of this country is now. PNP or JLP or any of us, any except us, are looking at the local government system. Looking at what happened up at Tavistock in Jackson, mash up the place, no regulation at all. Look at what is happening on the road. Look at what is happening with solid waste, yes, in the communities. And we don't say to ourselves, look here, don't you see this? This is a reproach. Let us at least talk to each other and try and come up with something. Look how after all of the troubles in Salt Spring and St. James, and everybody said, can we, the crime management thing, Lloyd Distant, all of the others say, can we come back to the jail, the Vale Royal talks? Wait there. No intention whatever.
But that's just talk.
So
it's ready.
So talk is supposed to...
You mean something might come out of the talk?
Talk is supposed to influence conduct. That's the difference between us and the dog.
The who?
The dog. Dog can bark, but he can't influence things. We can frighten people, but he can't persuade in the way the human being can.
Hold on, man.
Sure, man.
You touch a wrong thing, because when you have the right dog, and you stand up at your field gate, nothing can come in,
Yeah. Well, all the more reason.
Not even a big dog or a small
all
dog.
the more reason then that we.
I know people can come in.
We who now know that we are better than that, supposed to do better. And I'm saying we are about to increase, to re-elect a cadre of local government officials who, I'm not saying they're useless, but I'm saying that they are far below the standard of performance needed by the people to have coherent, peaceful, orderly communities. Which
is there a performance target that is given to them?
No. Performance target is how much vote you can get.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Because, Ronnie, you have a constituency and you have 4 councillors, each in charge of one section of the constituency. Mm-hmm. And he concentrates on how it is kept, how the children go to school, how the elderly stay. Mm-hmm. I mean, but then, Master, we don't know money to do it.
Well,
they don't get money.
No.
So enough to hide when people come in.
Yeah. So what's the
purpose
of that? And draw money at the end of the month? Albeit, no, sir. The system have to change up, and we have the capacity to do it. If only we would stop trying to be first in the kingdom. Yes. But we're worried about who is Jew and who is Gentile, and the Lord says no bother with that. It don't make sense. What grace is to do is to help them to come together and recognize. Yes, if you were a minister, what is going on now with the nastiness all over the country? Sometimes I shame when I take tourists around. Come and want them see how coarse we live. Not that.
Well, I tell you, I told you already. Mm-hmm. I'm on record that the most fearful thing I have is a statement one of the gang leaders state that if Manchester gang ask how much them kill a children, and say, boy, them 10 ahead of we. They say, we have to catch them up.
Yeah, but I go deeper than you.
When I hear that.
I'm saying when you hear that.
Me?
Yeah, but people don't dream up that this morning. People become that over a period of time. What do? We know that a large we the population of this country, we the fathers, we the MPs, we the councillors, we know that a large proportion of our young people grow up in circumstances which predispose them towards violence and towards antisocial behavior.
But
what are we doing about it?
We is a compound word, which means we unite, right? You and I. It's two separate things. We don't have the we yet. We don't join the doublers.
So what are the institutions that we have? The Prime Minister told us once that it was a conviction that institutions change culture. He is so right. Yes? So what are we doing in the institutions with which we are connected? Whether it's politics, whether it's business, whether it is church or social, whatever it is. What are we doing to build positive culture? Yes?
Because those who are not searching for political power should give direction to the rest of us.
Well,
we see money.
Yeah,
yes,
the thing
free
is
money coming out there. Yes.
The thing is, you see, you with your longer experience in politics have a more pessimistic view of it than I do. I think politics is a sublime task. It is such a vital institution. Those who just cuss politicians and left it so. I'm not saying you're among them, but I don't agree with that. I don't. This is one of the things that I fundamentally disagreed with Perkins, because Perkins used to cuss and laugh at everybody's faults and foibles. Yes, but he never engaged himself in any effort to make things different. He never suggests a different way that we could do it. Yes.
Well,
some of us go in there into the trench, even though the trench dirty, even though we get dirty up ourselves. Yes. And feel frustrated and lose money, and some lose loved ones.
And we come out.
We go in.
But
we graduate. We come out. And even if we're dead in there, it's better to have done that than to sit outside and just cuss. We're no business with that. That can't help nobody. That is a selfish approach. What we want to do is have everybody cooperate. You gain happiness through cooperation for the common good. And that we must teach our children. That is God's word.
Yeah, but that is not the way the politics work.
Yeah, but that's not the end of the day.
Tell me something that both the PNP and the JLP leaders
agree on.
Get in Parliament and say, Madam Speaker,
Electoral Commission.
we have a matter here that both parties have met.
Electoral
and we have joined on
Electoral Commission.
But that's a long time.
Not that.
And and not only that, people from abroad came to see how we were able to do it.
Yes, sir.
We send man go all off.
So if you score a good goal, try and do a next one. And this is what we're saying. So
you set me up last night. You set up all night for me. You catch me all over the place.
No, but we're doing this.
Let me ask you a quick one, though.
I read your daughter's, Dr. Michelle Charles's sectoral debate.
Yes.
What an inspiring thing. I wanted to congratulate her because she gave account for all of the funds that come into the constituency. Seldom I've seen that done.
Well, let me say this.
No, but then she could have done so much more if she had
some money
and if she had a united front.
Right.
She was gracious enough to pay tribute to her predecessor, Dr. Fenton Ferguson.
Yes.
And I again, that's noble. That's Miss Merita background.
Yes.
But if the people of Eastern St. Thomas, with all of their difficulties of water, of road, now of flood, all of these things, if they had a common cause that they could unite around rather than differ from, they must do better.
Well, it is the politics of Jamaica that causes separation in many other things.
Yes, sir.
Because as you are doing it, somebody say, if you don't jump into it, them go and get winners a week and go in. So you need you have to understand clearly.
Wonderful. We have our guest, Nathaniel Pete. Welcome home.
Yeah, man. Good to be back with you again, Reverend.
Listen,
and Honorable Perna as well. Very good to see both of you again.
Well,
and,
thank you very much
yes,
for joining us, man.
Why you listening? Why you listening to us, not?
Yes, man. I hear you loud and clear. And
you're running back me up, right?
Listen to me. Don't worry about the local backup. You say, so stay. But listen, it's very important. Congratulations and thanks to you for all of the activism that you're connected with. And tell me now, what is the run-up to the Diaspora Conference next year? What are Jamaicans in the United Kingdom doing? And particularly tell me what's going to happen tomorrow to kick off all of these events.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, things have been slowly kind of gearing up towards the Jamaica Diaspora Conference next year. Now, for those who don't know, every 2 years, a biennial conference is held in Jamaica. The first one was run about 2008. And we have every 2 years a diaspora conference which brings together Jamaicans living abroad, like whether they be in UK, Canada, US and the United States, Australia or Africa or even UAE. And they come together to speak about issues of the diaspora and also to assist Jamaica with making decisions around policies and so forth. And really, if there's any issues of Jamaicans that are living both in Jamaica or in the diaspora regions, we bring that to the foot of government for discussion. And gearing up to this, we have had several conferences which have been held locally in the countries whereby the diaspora are located. We had our conference where the Honorable Minister Terrelong had actually come down to hold a conference in the United Kingdom that was held in the summer. And then we've had one in Canada. There's been one in the USA. There's going to be one in Belgium. which is coming up very soon. And these are to whet the appetite of the diaspora. We're trying to really engage the Jamaican that normally does not engage in diaspora-related activities. That means those who are perhaps professionals that don't understand about diaspora. Even those who don't even know what this word diaspora means, which is a Latin word that comes, it means those who have dispersed, for those listeners that are not familiar with the term diaspora.
Yeah.
But within the framework that is different from other years that this has happened, is that we have the National Diaspora Policy Document, as well as Vision 2030, which has been on the agenda of most
Sure.
of the administrations.
Sure.
You know, from Bruce Golding right the way through Portia Simpson Miller, and even now with the current Prime Minister Andrew Holness, this Vision 2030 vision has been there for some time. And the National Diaspora Policy links directly into the pillars of that framework. And this is built around the goals that Jamaica will become a prosperous nation, that we can have security and cohesive justice in the country, that we can have good education, good health, and a good environment. And it's underpinned by these principles. And this is where I am going to be holding a seminar at the Jamaican High Commission tomorrow. And this is where I'm inviting key professionals
in London
within the diaspora.
Yes,
that's in London. That's
Jamaican
right.
High Commission,
British High,
right? In London.
not the British High Commission in Jamaica.
No. Making it clear. Yes, Prince Consort Road in Kensington. And what will be the form of this? What and the content, and what do you hope will be the outcomes, Nathaniel Pete?
Well, the process of this is going to be where I will break down the strategy that I have in terms of mobilization across the diaspora, the communication strategy in particular, explaining a high-level overview of what the Jamaican national policy framework is around. That's the Jamaican Diaspora National Policy Document. What the overview of that is in terms of the aims and objectives, as well as a very, very brief overview of Vision 2030. But the key thing that I'm after is I want sector specialists in order for us to effectively have some type of movement, whether that be for basic schools in Jamaica or effective movement through prison reform in Jamaica, whereby we can ensure that we have the right rehabilitation for the offenders, or whether it be something around health and well-being, both for the diaspora and those in Jamaica, whether it be around investment and trade. We need experts that are in those sectors to help to advise and to help to direct and help to mobilize and help to have action in Jamaica. Where we have businesses that require investments, let's say in Jamaica, whereby you have a startup that needs seed investment to get their thing moving. There are businesses in the United Kingdom that very easily, Jamaican-owned businesses, very easily could put in £5,000, and that £5,000 could do so much
change
work
out good
for those early stage businesses.
Yes, boy, this to me, this is sorry to interrupt you, but this is the main thing. If we can use the resources and of those in the diaspora to invest in Jamaican businesses, Pernell, this is different to the kind of money that comes home by way of remittances to help school fees and Christmas gift and emergencies. This is the bonding that can make the diaspora real contributors into Jamaica, don't you think? I'm hoping
That's
for
right.
this.
I mean, when you're looking at £5,000, for those that don't know side the conversion, that's about, I think with today's exchange rate, it's about 930,000 Jamaican dollars.
Look at
right?
that.
Almost $1 million that you can get as a seed investment.
Yeah.
But there are businesses that can do this. Now, what we require in Jamaica is the cohesion, the cohesive, strategic, partnered type of incubation. That's where we could use those like the IDB or other such platforms, the Branson School of Entrepreneurship, or another such incubator that will help these businesses
Jamaica
to
Business
be able to
Development
scale once they get those investments.
Sure, but what I would love is that it won't be for tomorrow, but for the next time, Pernell, that when Nathaniel is speaking at the High Commission to people of Jamaican origin who have business and so on, that he should have a video presentation that showed 20 or 30 startup businesses or small businesses, yes, from Lime Tree Gardens right through to Central Kingston, yes, that showed exactly, look here, this is a business that's that $500,000 can make the difference in. This is a research venture that can prove, and it must make money sense for the people in England, and it must make economic survival for the counterparts in Jamaica. And you have the brokerage where you have a government agency like the JBDC or JAMPRO at different levels who can make it real and monitor it and sponsor it and keep it accountable. Isn't that what we need?
Well, look, let me just say, because you have that other man in Canada.
Yes, Steve McDonald.
You have our man in America.
Yeah, man.
If the influence that our external friends, and I call them external because the diaspora, the connection from there to here, can have over us here.
Yeah.
We can't have it the other way, you know.
Well.
So if it comes, like he's saying, more power to us.
Well, I'm so glad you're doing this at the High Commission, Nathaniel. Do we have a resident High Commissioner now?
Yes, we do, and I've met him as a delightful man. That is His
High Commissioner
Alexander
Williams.
Alexander
Good
Williams,
man.
That's right. Yes.
Good man. Oh yes, give him greetings from both of us. Yes, but that's the kind of brokerage, that's the kind of facilitation that is needed. So you're going to be promoting this when you lead tomorrow.
That's right, promoting this and several other pillars whereby I want sector specialists. Now, these will be pro bono. Like my position on the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council is pure passion. It's not any money. There's no economics behind this at all.
And we commend you
for that. This is just the pure love for Jamaica.
That is the spirit.
Right? And so it's pro bono help that I'm seeking, whereby I have sector specialists across various different aspects of industry and trade or public service, meaning education, experts in education, experts in gastronomy, agriculture, energy, the faith-led community as well. It is connecting with those who are understanding digital space and those that understand engineering, or is sector health is a big one as well, whereby I'll be presenting the representative that I'm going to have around my team framework in the United Kingdom that will mobilize other health specialists. That is Marsha Jones. She's an award-winning nurse here in the United Kingdom, a Jamaican.
Yes.
And she was actually at Buckingham Palace the other day. A very, very great individual advocate.
Excellent.
Around nursing.
But you
look in the UK.
Look at the resources we have. Pernell, this is good. These are people who have not turned their back on their country, you know. These are people who have not forgotten where their navel string was buried or their parents. Yes? And they're willing to participate. We should be opening the doors. Talk straight, Nathaniel, Pete. Are you getting enough support from the Jamaican government? Do we need a Minister of Diaspora Affairs? How do you see it?
Well, we have a Minister of Diaspora Affairs. That is Honorable Minister Orlando Terrelong.
Oh,
and to be honest, he's been very supportive.
Very
good. Even down to Terrelong, Mr. Terrelong. Yeah. When he was with Minister Grange's portfolio, he did a good work, and he's a young minister, and he really understands the diaspora, and he's had experience of living in the diaspora as well, which adds as well to the experience of what it's like living as a Jamaican in an overseas territory. Now, we have had support from the government of Jamaica, and they've opened avenues of conversation, and this is both from both perspective, where both sides of the government have reached out, and there has been levels of communication between both sides. This is apolitical in that we're really about the development of Jamaica.
Yes, man.
And we are really trying to allow for Jamaicans here that are not necessarily connected to become connected, meaning that Jamaica will have a better output. That's also for the diaspora as well. You know, there are many people that diabetes, stroke, heart disease. These are common, sicknesses and illness that associate with our people. And there are companies that have been interested in this, like, for example, the Salad Master titanium pots, where we have Empowerment to Health that is partnering and wanting to basically even sponsor the event. Now, the government of Jamaica does not give us any money towards this, and that's the only thing, an area where I think that we need a bit more support. So maybe even the private sector can help with that, especially for the young council members of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, who sometimes are students themselves or just qualified, in their industry, not working properly. We need finance for them.
At all costs, we must keep their interest, because other countries, their history tells us that when it gets to the third generation and fourth generation, distant from birth, from the host, the mother country, their interest dissipates. Now, we can't afford that, sir. We need more of that. More people who are assisted in order to encourage their continuing loyalty and engagement with Jamaica, eh?
That's right. That's true. And this is about the mobilization of the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth generation, where I'm going to be doing several types of round table discussions with young Jamaicans. I'm going to be holding a survey as well at this seminar, which will find out exactly what the diaspora wants and what they need. I know for a fact I'm going to have a 16-year-old there that's coming to the High Commission as well, because I really want to bridge the age group. Traditionally speaking, we have the senior diaspora, but this is about a new type of diaspora, a younger diaspora. They are more interested in philanthropic social output, whether that be connecting them with a business that they can support, or even looking at a charity that does real tangible impact. And so this is where we need to have the academic partnership, so we can do monitoring and evaluation of the effectiveness of this as well. So I'm going to be speaking about all of this within this seminar I'm doing at the High Commission. Introduction of the sector specialist, a recruitment drive for those who would like to be involved directly within the sector specialisms that I have. And we're going to be doing a full communication plan of how they're going to be able to communicate that directly into the diaspora regions, where one of my strategists, Natasha Ferguson, has helped me to build that framework. She's a comms expert, and I have another PR person that's come on board as well that's going to be supporting with this to ensure that we can really get the messaging of what we're trying to achieve here for Jamaica. And hopefully by the Diaspora Conference next year in June, we'll be able to report back in terms of the footprint that we've made in mobilizing this diaspora. Crime and violence is a big area for me, given my background within the safety box programs. You can see the logo on the screen for those that are there.
Yes, and we know you for that.
And so looking at prison reform and crime and violence and reducing that as well is another area of the focus, where we're looking at duplication, replication, training, and assistance and sharing of best practice, which will assist the Jamaican organizations to become more robust and insist on evidenced work that happens around youth interventions and to prevent violence. And when we can stimulate business, we're speaking about a GDP. SMEs, or small and medium enterprises, are the backbone to the modern economy in Jamaica. The more SMEs we can support, the better the GDP will be for the country. Once we have a better GDP, we have more finance. Once we have more finance, we have the ability to support school children more. We can give grants, we can give stipends, we can do more. We have more resources. And this is about the diaspora investment. This is about us contributing directly to the economy and the growth of Jamaica, both from a developmental perspective, an operational, as well as even from a spiritual perspective as well, when we engage the faith leadership as well, to support some of the local churches that are there in Jamaica. Because even the churches with the right framework can have support for the community. Sorry.
Are you able to get that spirit that you're showing on us here?
That's it.
Across to Canada and across to the United States, even those two other areas where we know we have some Jamaicans like you who are nationally interested.
And what motivates that younger
motivation, that
generation
spirit,
that you're trying to elicit, Nathaniel Pete? What do they know about this country? What do they think about it? What are they reacting to that makes them alive in this respect?
What the motivation is that they want to have benefit in Jamaica. So, for example, why can't we give them a Reggae Sunfest free ticket or even a 50% discount for diaspora?
Yep.
When you go down to Jamaica as a tourist or them going down for a holiday or visit family, why do the diaspora have to pay a fee that is like a tourist coming from the US or from Canada that is not from the island? Why not offer them discount for a Jamaican overseas? Or why not give them a local rate or something close to a local rate as an international traveler? That would be beneficial for them. Within Jamaicans Inspired, which is an organization that I co-founded.
Yes.
I'm now the co-chair of the organization as I'm moving more into the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council position. Mr. Corey Hyde has taken over the CEO position. I'm still the co-chair. However, I'm allowing the organization to just get on while I focus on Global Jamaica Diaspora Council representative type of work. And within Jamaicans Inspired, there is a discount program that we run, a benefits program. So whether that be a hotel, a local hotel, they get a discount. Whether that be a car rental, they get a discount. It is a special care that they can get, either with VIP attractions. Sure. It is being able to have the ease of access, whereby we connect them with integrated diaspora services as a way to smooth their process of doing the legal obligations, whether that be TRN for tax or registration or whatever it may be, NIS or whatever it may be. It is to ensure that the diaspora has these pathways and to streamline, their dealings with Jamaica, both in terms of setting up business or buying land or the acquisition of property, whatever it may be. It is to help them in as best ways as possible. These types of things are more of an incentive to the younger generation.
I want to say
they're looking at return on investments.
Sure.
Jamaica Stock Exchange, so forth.
Time is on us, but I want to say to you that insofar as we can, the Bridge 99 wants to have itself known as a station where we are anxious to know what the problems that people have. If we can help to sort them out, we're glad to do that. And we want to follow you and your initiative through to the Diaspora Conference in 2024 and really to be the bridge that we can for between you and ourselves here. It is of vital importance.
I want to add one thing to that. I don't know that all the Jamaicans are listening to you, but I know it's excited enough that when you get to Jamaica, that you want one or two, meetings. I mean, like
we have to welcome you.
Diaspora report in Kingston.
That's what the conference
Montego Bay,
is going to be,
Manchester. With people who have friends and families abroad. Could come and get a feeling that he's doing to us now. He's really tearing into our interest, heart,
Yeah, that's good. Nathaniel Pete, keep doing what you're doing. We hope tomorrow's event goes very well. We look forward to hearing from you. We're always available to hear of your efforts. Thanks so much for today.
Thanks a lot, and I look forward to speaking to you again.
All the best.
Blessings. Have a good day, everyone.
Founder of the Safety Box, co-founder of Jamaican Inspired, Nathaniel Pete in England, Jamaican to the core, yes, and advancing the cause of the nation and the interests of individual people. The Bridge 99 offers ourselves. Get in touch with us and let us know if you have problems, needs, if you want services that we can direct you to. That's what we're happy to do. We're the bridge between you and here. We soon come back. This is Charles and Thwaites. Enjoying the interviews we've had, but wanted to spend a few minutes with you. I just feel a sense of relief with the news that this truce, I don't know if it's a truce, but at least it's a pause in the war between Hamas and Israel and the freeing of some of the hostages. Do you think it's real? You think it can be sustained? You think we can get up in the United Nations and applaud this and support it and make them know that a conscious, loving people want it to be this way? What do you think?
I hate to say it, but I'm not convinced of the reality because there's so much hate. Let me put it as a wish.
Yeah.
Then I wish that this can happen.
Yeah.
But some of the things that has happened over the period of the babies dying and the pregnant mothers losing them and them dying on the road, no.
But let's talk about the heart of man now, because this is a historical
that is the problem.
War. This is a situation where you have Zionists in Israel who are so intent upon preserving their nation that they don't check for any Palestinian at all. You have, on the other hand, groups like Hamas and Islamic Jihad who feel that Israel must be wiped off the face of the earth. Now,
yes, the two of them
yeah,
have the same idea.
Yeah.
Opposite.
Yes, indeed. And yet they live in circumstances where they are bound to mingle, where some marry each other, where some stand up side by side, whether it's on the Palestinian side or on the Israeli side. I wonder, what is there in the collective conscience of the world? What is there in the huge influence that, for example, the United States has over Israel, where they pump billions of dollars into that country? Yes, the Jewish lobby is one of the most powerful elements of the American political and economic panoply. Is it impossible for them? Is there no United Nations force that can stand in the breach, be the bridge between Israel and the Palestinians, and prevent the kind of atrocity that took place on October the 7th? And is now continuing in what is the capacity of the human person who can go to the moon, yes, who can achieve the miracles of artificial intelligence?
There's one answer to that,
But can't.
Politics. Because the United States has a veto power. The Soviet Union has a veto power. Why can't we get a United Nations where the veto power belongs to the majority?
Point.
So if the majority say, look here, stop, and you don't stop, we send an army from the rest and stop it.
Yeah.
But now,
look how simple that sounds.
But Ronnie,
no, but
it should
it's
be
realistic.
It should be that the majority decides after discussion.
Yeah. That's if you're democratic in mind.
Well,
but then the nature of international relations is supposed to advance democracy, shouldn't it?
Well, it's an ideological problem that you also have.
Yeah.
Right?
No, we don't have any more ideological problem.
No, we have a money problem. We have a basic economic and social problem. We have all the people in Jamaica, in Jews and Palestinians, and we have to be very careful who we vote with, because we have friends mix up in Jamaica.
No, but why we don't vote for what is right, and the right must be.
Well, some of what is right is determined by national
it could be,
events.
But my position is that I defend the right of Israel to have secure borders and an absence of terror, of the fear of terror. I require and demand the same for the Palestinians.
Stop right there.
Yeah.
You can't have that.
Can't have that.
You can't have you in your one way.
Yes, sir.
Can't want the same thing for Israel, for the same thing for the Palestinians. Because that is what I'm fighting against.
Well, but then you see
that they can't unite.
But then look at the consequences. 1,400 dead on one side, 11,000 plus dead on the other. The billions of dollars of the world's wealth is going to have to be contributed to build back Gaza, whether it's under Jewish control or Palestinian control. Yes? Why are we so stupid that we do not act in our own self-interest? The self-interest of the interest of humanity. I mean,
it's not only in Gaza and in Israel that we have this problem. Right now, it's happening between the Soviet Union
clearly,
and up there. Internationally, we are shocked. Food is set back.
But as we get
sea traveling is set back.
As we get ready to go, I believe that this is the particular gift and inspiration of Jamaica. That Jamaica is small, we are weak in many respects, but we are highly principled people, and we're full of levity and humanity. Now that gift is trumpeted on the on the podiums of whichever forum we're in, and we said this is what is good for us. This is what is good for humanity, and we stand for that.
I want to say one quick thing.
Quick, say it.
I am worried that there isn't a referee between the PNP and the JLP.
Yeah.
We have it stand by.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, for example, the private sector and the church. Why can't they put some vim and vivacity, as a man would say, right?
Uh-huh.
And say, look here, we want you guys to work together.
Uh-huh.
We want to assist you.
Uh-huh.
Because right now, Ronnie, between now and the next election is a season of desperation, and separation, alteration.
And that's one thing we're not having here. That's one thing we're going to stand against. And if a referee will help, let us find one or more, but let us establish the principle that if we want the people of Jamaica to prosper the way that we should, all of us should want, then we're going to have to depress some of these tribal instincts that are making it so difficult for us to get through. And we can discuss all of the things that we could achieve when that is happening, when we meet again on the public eye. Thank you for today.
Well, thank you for today.
Yes.
And I wish you. Are you saying the rains are over?
I don't know. I hope not for too long, because we need constant rain. Eh? We need farmers' rain, as we call it.
And the Prime Minister has asked me to say to you that we need to say to the people, when we say don't build your house on the river course and the Gully Blanc, we are trying to save your life, save whatever your economy is up to there.
And next time, let's talk about river training, particularly in St. Thomas. That is such a great need and such a great default.
As long as the Blue Mountain is there pushing that river down, are going to have problems.
But then what do? Dig out the base of the river and not expect it to flow over. This is the public eye on the Bridge 99 FM.
So you jumped with the last one.
Thank you so much for your attention. Stay tuned for next Wednesday. We'll be back. Live Spare, God willing. Bye.